The first night I learned the rules. The manager handed me the keys and spoke like a priest. The station sat alone on a long stretch of highway. Beyond the pumps, the land vanished into black. The lights hummed. I took the job because the money was steady. I did not expect rules. Never answer the phone after 2 a.m., Joe said. He trained me. Never let anyone inside after 3. Don't give your real name if someone uses only a first name. Keep the cameras on. I remembered the rules like a prayer. They sounded like old stories. Joe had worked nights a long time. His face was pulled tight like paper. They test you, he said. They like to be counted. The first week was ordinary. A trucker bought coffee. A couple argued and left. At 2:12 a.m. the phone rang, and I let it ring. At 3:02 a.m. car eased in. A man stood at the pump and looked at the store. He said my name to the glass as if he had been keeping it soft in his mouth. I did not answer. Later, Joe told me the man's reflection on the glass had lagged like a bad tape. They don't like being watched, he said. More rules followed. Never whistle. Never accept a gift. If a dog sits at the edge of the light, throw it a wrapper and walk away. If someone mentions a name you know, go to the back and stay there. Simple sentences that kept the night from reaching into us. Once, a man in a low cap came in for a lighter. He brushed my hand as I passed it to him. The touch was nothing and everything. He left and then came back with a candy bar and some money. We have rules too, he said, tapping his temple. We don't like bright lights. The lights cut for one breath. The monitors froze. In the glass doors, shapes slid sideways like film frames shelved wrong. The man in the cap pressed his face to glass. His eyes shone with a light that was not human. He called my name. I locked the door. I turned on every light I could find. I obeyed the rules. The manager stormed in and slammed his fist on the counter. They change when you stare, he said. If you count them wrong, they'll count you. After that night, Joe quit. The manager slid new rules under the counter in tiny handwriting. If someone calls from the dark, do not answer. If you see 2 sets of eyes in a glass, close one and open the other. If warmth grows at your feet, stand on the register and keep moving. I followed them. Fear makes practice fast. It makes locks heavy and hands steady. The rules kept me alive and kept the nights honest. Or so I told myself. Months moved like slow clocks. I left a cup of coffee on the counter for those who looked thin at the edges. I let phones ring past too. I learned to watch reflections more than faces. I learned to be small. One dawn, a woman in a white shawl tapped on the glass. She asked for directions and said my brother's name. The rule was short. Do not answer if they say a name you know. I backed away and kept my mouth shut. Later, muddy footprints stained the porch, and a scrap of shawl snagged on the pump. I burned that scrap in the trash and did not tell anyone. Curiosity is a poor companion. Once, I let a phone ring until the 5th tone and picked up. A breath answered, and then a voice that sounded like mine said my name. It made my teeth ache. I asked, "Who is this?" The voice laughed and said, "You know." After that, the feed on the monitors showed the lot empty and a single fresh coffee cup on the running board of a parked rig. A trucker vanished one night. His rig sat idle with a mug still warm inside. The manager did not sleep for 2 days. He tightened the rules until they were a tight fist. He said, "They take parts of you. Habits, a laugh, a way of holding a cigarette. They learn quick." On my last night, the man in the cap stood under the pump light and watched me from a distance. He did not come in. He left a small folded scrap of paper on the pump. I read it only after I had locked the door. The handwriting was thin and quick. Sometimes rules change. I kept the scrap in my pocket. The road home was empty. At one point the radio filled with static, and I thought I heard my own voice call my name. I did not answer. At dawn, the station looked like a place that had been waiting. Weeks later, small things changed. A coffee cup I had left on the counter was gone. In its place sat a smooth stone the size of my palm. Once, a shadow moved in my window at home, and I saw 2 shapes where only one should be. I was tired. The rules are a map drawn in the dark. They tell you where to step. They do not promise the ground will not change. They hold the space between you and whatever waits outside the light. I still let the phone ring after 2. I still keep the cameras on. I still toss a wrapper for a dog that waits. But sometimes on those long empty miles, the highway wind carries a voice that says my name in the same soft way the man in the cap did. When it does, my hands tighten on the wheel, and I do not answer. Some rules are thin and some are thick. Some protect you for a night. Some keep you whole for longer. And some, if you're unlucky or curious, will change when you're not looking.